My girlfriend posted. Surprised him by donating all his clothes to charity while he slept. I woke up to empty closets, lost memories, and thousands of dollars gone overnight. I woke up one morning and something felt off. The kind of wrong that hums under your skin before your brain catches up. My closet door was open, light spilling across the empty hangers. Empty. Every shirt, jacket, suit, and even my college hoodie gone. I thought maybe Chloe was reorganizing again. She loved her projects. Then I saw the note taped neatly to the mirror in her looping handwriting. Surprised you. Donated all your clothes to charity while you slept. You're finally free from your old life. Love you. Red heart, Chloe. My phone buzzed nonstop. Notifications stacked like falling dominoes. On Instagram, Chloe had posted a reel. Her smiling, tossing my clothes into giant donation bins, captioned, "He couldn't let go of the past." So I helped. The video had 18,000 likes and climbing. The comments stung more than the empty closet. Girlfriend goals. Queen of decluttering. Men need this kind of energy. I stood barefoot in gym shorts, surrounded by the ghost of my wardrobe and 5 years of my life, wiped out for social media applause. First, I thought it would blow over. Chloe had done impulsive things before. Cutting her hair without warning, borrowing my laptop for a weekend productivity challenge. But this was different. My entire wardrobe, gone for the sake of an Instagram video. Still, I figured once she cooled off, she'd see how insane it was. I left a calm comment under her post. "Those were my clothes, not yours." Within minutes, she replied publicly, lighthearted as ever. "You're overreacting, Brandon. It's just stuff. Someone else needs it more." And that was the spark. Hundreds of strangers swooped in like vultures. Materialistic much? Imagine crying over shirts when people are starving. Bro, she's teaching you minimalism. Say thank you. Someone even edited her video to add heroic music and uploaded it to TikTok. It hit 500,000 views before noon. At work, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Slack messages, memes, even my coworkers' forced chuckles in the break room. My manager poked his head into my cubicle, smirking. "Hey, viral guy, at least she left you underwear, right?" The room erupted in laughter. I forced a smile, pretending it didn't bother me, but the truth was, I felt stripped naked in more ways than one. At lunch, I tried calling Chloe. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Nothing. I texted, "We need to talk. This isn't funny." No response. Then came the text from my dry cleaner. "Your pickup has been canceled. Recipient declined delivery." Recipient? Called them. "Oh yeah," the woman said. "A young lady came by yesterday, said you were donating all your items. She even had the ticket. We gave her your suits and coats." My throat went dry. Those were my work suits. Tailored. Paid off in installments. Gone. I left the office early, told them I was sick, drove straight to the charity center listed in Chloe's video description. A volunteer recognized me the moment I walked in. "Oh, you're the guy from the video. The declutter boyfriend," she said, smiling like we were old friends. "Yeah," I muttered. "Can you tell me if any of those donations are still here?" She checked the computer, frowned. "Sorry, everything was picked up this morning. Distributed to thrift stores, donation hubs, a few shelters." "Where exactly?" I pressed. She listed 6 places spread across 3 counties. It would have taken a week just to track them all down. As I stood there, surrounded by bins of discarded clothes, I noticed one item on a rack that looked familiar. An old flannel I'd had since college. The tag said $3.99. I stared at it, then left it hanging. Buying back my own life for $4 felt like begging for scraps of dignity. That evening, Chloe finally texted, "Babe, don't be mad. The comments are mostly positive. People love that we're giving back. You'll thank me when you feel lighter." Lighter. The word made me laugh out loud, sharp and bitter. I had one pair of jeans left, an old hoodie, and the sudden, suffocating knowledge that my life had become public property. Stripped, sorted, and praised by people who didn't even know my name. By midnight, her video had hit 2 million views. Sponsors were already commenting, "We love this message. DM us for collaboration." I scrolled through the comments until my eyes blurred. He should be grateful. She's a queen. Some men don't deserve good women. And somewhere beneath all that noise, I realized something that scared me more than losing my clothes. She didn't see this as a mistake. She saw it as a victory. Everything I owned was gone, and she was being rewarded for it. When Chloe finally called back 2 days later, she sounded more inconvenienced than guilty. Her voice had that sharp edge she used whenever she thought I was being too emotional. "Babe, it was content," she said, stretching the word like it excused everything. "People will love your reaction once I post the follow-up. You looked so shocked. It's perfect. Content," I repeated, stunned. "You dumped my wardrobe for views?" "Those were my things, Chloe. My dad's jacket, my graduation suit, the coat from my first promotion." She sighed dramatically, like I was ruining her creative flow. "Oh my God. You're so dramatic. It's just stuff. I did it for us. The algorithm loves authenticity. The algorithm. Not me. Not us." That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed, bare mattress, because she'd even donated the bedding that looked too old for our new life, and listed everything I'd lost. By the time I finished, the total came to $8,750. That wasn't sentiment. That was money, time, work. I emailed her the document. Simple, factual, no anger. Subject: loss estimate. Attaching an itemized list of the clothing and accessories you removed without consent. Total replacement value: $8,750. Please advise how you plan to reimburse. She didn't reply privately. Instead, she screenshotted my email, cropped it so only the words, "Please advise how you plan to reimburse" showed, and posted it to her story with the caption, "Imagine billing your girlfriend for kindness. Sad." Overnight, I became a meme. On Twitter, they called me the greedy guy from Seattle. TikTok edits of her videos had captions like, "POV. Your minimalist queen teaches you a lesson in humility." Someone even deepfaked a crying scene of me hugging donation bags while Sarah McLachlan music played in the background. Every notification felt like a punch. At work, HR called me in. "Brandon, you're all over social media," my manager said, half amused, half concerned. "Clients are mentioning it. Just lay low, okay?" I laid low. For days, I barely left my apartment. Then my mom called, voice trembling. "Honey, why are you trending as the man who sued charity? Tell me that's not true." She'd seen a post Chloe shared from a viral kindness page with 500,000 followers. It had my blurred-out face and the caption, "He threatened legal action after his girlfriend donated his clothes to the homeless." Some men really don't understand generosity. Generosity. That word burned. I tried to fight back. I posted my own version of events. Polite, factual, not angry. Explained that my clothes were donated without consent, that I was simply asking for accountability. It barely reached anyone. The comments section filled instantly with strangers calling me bitter, privileged, insecure. A few asked for proof, so I uploaded the insurance estimate. It was immediately screenshot and turned into another meme. Bro put a price tag on kindness. Then came the DMs, hundreds of them. Some sympathetic, most hostile. "Grow up. She's doing good in the world. Men like you are why we can't have nice things." Chloe, meanwhile, thrived. She posted daily updates about her minimalism journey and how she'd learned to let go of negativity. Each video got more views. She'd partnered with a sustainable clothing brand. Her bio now read, "Turning clutter into compassion, 2 hearts, hashtag, give more, live more." The people who once cheered me on in real life, coworkers, even mutual friends, started ghosting me. One friend texted, "Man, maybe don't go after her publicly. It's a bad look. Bad look." That's what it came down to. Not truth, not fairness, optics. One night, scrolling through yet another wave of comments calling me ungrateful, I caught myself staring at Chloe's latest video. Her smiling, trying on thrifted jackets she'd bought for herself with captions about rebuilding simplicity. The final line of her caption hit me like a brick. Sometimes you have to lose something to find who you really are. She wasn't remorseful. She was evolving her brand. And I was just a discarded prop in her redemption arc. That's when it hit me. She hadn't just taken my wardrobe. She'd taken control of the story. She'd rewritten me into the villain. Petty, greedy, selfish. And the world had believed her. And that's when I stopped feeling humiliated. I started feeling focused. Filing the police report wasn't some grand act of revenge. It was quiet, methodical, the same way you document a car accident. You don't do it out of spite. You do it because damage has been done, and someone has to take responsibility. I gathered everything. Receipts, screenshots, her video with the caption, "He won't find out until he wakes up face with tears of joy #declutterchallenge." Even the post where she wrote, "He's too attached to material things. Let's help him grow." At the station, the officer, mid-40s, tired eyes, coffee in hand, watched the clip twice. When he looked up, he didn't smirk like everyone else had. "Sir," he said, setting his cup down, "this isn't a prank. It's destruction of property." Those words hit me like a sigh of relief. Finally, someone called it what it was. He started taking notes, asking for estimates, serial numbers, identifying details. I gave him everything. He called the donation center while I sat there, palms sweating. "Yes," he said into the phone. "A woman named Chloe Hart. She dropped off several bags yesterday. Did she provide proof of ownership?" He listened for a few seconds, then his brow furrowed. "So, she said it was her boyfriend's and you accepted it anyway?" Pause. "Got it. Thank you." He hung up and looked at me. They confirmed she donated everything under her name. No verification. "We'll open a report for theft and conversion of property." I nodded, numb. "What happens next?" "We'll contact her. She'll probably deny it at first. But with that video," he gestured toward my phone, "you've got her confession." For a brief, dangerous moment, I thought that was the end of it, that justice might quietly do its job. But Chloe had a bigger audience than the police. 2 hours after the officer left her a voicemail, she posted a story to her 140,000 followers. "So my ex is literally calling the cops on me for donating to charity. 2025 men, everyone." The video showed her fake crying, holding a box of canned food, saying, "Guest generosity is illegal now." Within minutes, her fans flooded my inbox. "Monster. Pathetic excuse for a man. Hope you rot in court, materialist pig." My DMs were an avalanche of outrage. Even local influencers picked it up. "Seattle man calls police on girlfriend after she donates his clothes to the homeless." No one cared about the truth, that she'd emptied my life for clicks. That night, I came home from work to find the hallway of my apartment building unusually quiet. Then I saw it. Streaks of bright pink paint splashed across my front door, dripping like blood in the dim light. At first, I thought it was some random vandalism. Then I saw the word, scrawled with a trembling hand in marker across the middle. "Charity hater." The building's security cameras caught 2 masked figures. Teenagers, maybe, holding spray cans. When I showed the footage to the landlord, he sighed. "Internet thing, huh? You should move before it gets worse." That sentence stuck with me. Before it gets worse. Because it was already bad. My insurance company hesitated to cover the loss because, technically, the property was voluntarily removed by a domestic partner. My boss stopped assigning me client-facing work, said it was better for the company's image. I was becoming radioactive. Meanwhile, Chloe kept spinning her version. She went live on TikTok, tearfully explaining how she tried to do good, but got punished by the system. Donations poured in for her charity cause. Someone even started a GoFundMe, Support Chloe's Kindness Project. It hit $12,000 in 2 days. The comments under her stream blurred into one indistinguishable chant. "She's an angel. He's bitter. Typical man can't stand a strong woman doing good." I watched the live feed in silence from my dark apartment, the paint on my door still wet, the smell of chemicals sharp in the air. That's when something in me went quiet, the noise, the anger, even the humiliation. There was only one thought left. I wasn't in a relationship anymore. I was in a war. And for the first time, I understood what kind of enemy I was facing. Not just a person with bad judgment, but a woman who knew exactly how to weaponize sympathy, how to twist perception until truth bent around her like light through glass. She turned me into a villain in her story. Now it was time to start writing my own. By the time the court date arrived, the whole thing had metastasized into a circus. News outlets ran clickbait headlines like, "Viral decluttering queen faces legal drama." Outside the courthouse, a handful of her fans actually held signs, "Justice for Chloe," and "Let kindness win." I remember walking past them in a borrowed suit that didn't quite fit, thinking how surreal it was that this all started with a closet. Chloe arrived in full performance mode. Designer sunglasses, bright pink dress, hair styled to perfection. A cameraman, probably a friend, trailed behind her, recording her walk through the courthouse steps like it was a red carpet premiere. Inside, she set up her phone on the bench beside her. Her lawyer whispered something. She nodded and hit record. I could almost hear the algorithm salivating. The judge, a weary man with half-moon glasses and a face carved by decades of nonsense, looked at the phone and sighed. "Ms. Wilson, turn that off. This is a courtroom, not a YouTube channel." She blushed faintly but complied, lowering it with an exaggerated pout. Then it began. Her lawyer launched into a long, emotional monologue about the spirit of generosity, how Chloe's actions had been misinterpreted by the cold letter of the law. He even quoted something about modern acts of kindness being misunderstood in a cynical age. When it was my turn, my attorney simply played her own videos on the court's monitor. There she was, laughing as she tossed my clothes into donation bins, whispering to the camera, "He'll wake up and freak out." The courtroom was silent except for her giggles echoing from the speakers. When the video ended, the judge rubbed his temples. "Ms. Wilson," he said, voice dry, "do you admit to removing Mr. Carter's belongings without consent?" Chloe tried her softest smile. "It wasn't stealing, Your Honor. It was a surprise. He said he wanted to simplify his life. I was helping." The judge's expression didn't change. "By removing $8,000 worth of property? I didn't think it mattered," she said quickly. "They were just clothes." He clicked his pen twice, then gestured toward the monitor. "That's not help, Ms. Wilson. That's evidence." Her lawyer stammered something about social context, about virality, about acts of content creation as performative art. The judge cut him off. "This isn't a sociology seminar. It's small claims court." When he read the verdict, his tone was almost bored. "The court finds in favor of the plaintiff. Ms. Wilson is to reimburse Mr. Carter for $9,000 in damages, provide proof of removal of all related content from social media, and refrain from any further mention of his name or likeness." Her face crumpled, disbelief overtaking the performative calm. "You can't make me delete my content," she said, voice rising. The judge leaned back, unimpressed. "Ma'am, if I see one more post, one more video, one more hashtag with his name, I will personally issue a restraining order. Do you understand?" Chloe's lawyer tugged at her sleeve. "Just agree, Chloe." For once, she didn't have a comeback. She just stood there, eyes glassy, mouth slightly open, like a performer whose microphone had been cut mid-song. From the gallery behind me, someone clapped. Just once. Then another. It rippled softly through the room, awkward but real. The bailiff didn't stop it. Chloe's mother gasped audibly. She'd been in the front row the whole time, clutching a purse like it was a lifeline. "They're ruining your life for helping people," she shouted as they were escorted out. I stayed seated, letting the sound of her heels fade down the hallway. My lawyer slid the paperwork toward me, said quietly, "Congratulations, you won." But it didn't feel like winning. It felt like quiet relief after a storm, like standing among broken furniture in a house that's finally stopped shaking. Outside, the same fans who had cheered her on didn't meet her eyes. The cameras turned away as she brushed past. Makeup streaked, phone off for the first time in months. For the first time since it all began, the internet didn't clap. The courtroom did. 3 months passed like slow smoke curling through an empty room. Court-ordered wage garnishment began hitting my account. $375 a month, automatically transferred. Not enough to feel rich, but enough to rebuild. Slowly, deliberately, I started buying clothes again. A sharp navy suit for work, sturdy boots, soft flannels that smelled like nothing but clean cotton. Every purchase carried a quiet thrill, a reclamation of autonomy. But some things weren't replaceable. My dad's old watch, the one he'd worn on our fishing trips, was gone. That familiar scent of his worn leather jacket, the one that always smelled faintly of cedar and campfires, evaporated into someone else's Instagram reel. Those weren't just items. They were memory anchors. I'd lost them to social media applause, to Chloe's performance, and nothing could bring them back. Friends still sent me screenshots occasionally. Chloe had pivoted her brand. Her new blog was called Life After Toxic Men, complete with weekly content on decluttering partners, manifesting kindness, and motivational advice. People still commented on the old videos, debating whether I had been overreacting or was, in fact, the villain. I didn't care. Let her keep the followers. Let her keep the narrative. I had kept my peace. Then, life moved quietly forward. I met Lauren. Smart, witty, with a laugh that didn't require a soundtrack. Our first date was at a small cafe with mismatched chairs and 2 bright lamps, the kind of place where people talk and listen. She glanced at me across the table, eyebrows raised, and asked, "Wait, are you the guy whose ex donated all his clothes?" I chuckled, pulling out my phone and showing her the video. She laughed so hard she nearly spilled her latte, tears running down her cheeks. "You survived that?" she asked, breathless from laughter. "Yeah," I said, smiling. "Now I only buy clothes with a return policy." There was a quiet satisfaction in her laughter, the kind that doesn't need virality or likes. It reminded me that life could still feel ordinary and safe, even after chaos. I rebuilt slowly. A closet full of things I chose, worn on my terms in my time. Each shirt, each pair of shoes, each jacket was a statement, mine. Not Chloe's. Not the internet's. Mine. Sometimes revenge isn't a dramatic post or a viral expose. Sometimes it's smaller, quieter, and infinitely more satisfying. Sometimes it's walking into your closet, closing the door behind you, and knowing every single thing there is exactly where it belongs, with you. The fire had taken much, but it left one thing intact. Control. Peace. Ownership of my own life. And that, after all the noise, the humiliation, the paint on my door, and the viral laughter, felt like victory enough. Because now, when I look in the mirror in my new suit, I see someone who survived the storm, reclaimed his life, and didn't need the internet's applause to prove it. The closet is full. The memories remain in my heart. And for the first time in months, I can breathe.